1490 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
I guess just the consistency. You know, we haven't had many bad days, and you're going to have bad games, but you can't have bad days and be a really good team.
The Great Bend Panthers softball team traveled to Hayes to take on the TMP Marion Monarchs in some doubleheaded action Tuesday night. The Great Bend came home with 2 wins, winning the first game by a score of 9-6 and the second by a score of 14-4.
0-1 coming. There's a drive deep to left field, and that baby will go. A frozen rope home run for Andrew Vaughn. It's 3-1.
I think it's pretty big to have everyone fresh for these last 2 games against the White Sox. We still got a chance to get this series.
It's not like it's that scandalous. It's just stupid. You have to understand you can't make bets on things like that. Therefore, you should not make bets on things like that. But this is, again, the system in place showing us that it is working. Because what we have right now are individuals who shouldn't be betting, but they're getting caught and reported relatively quickly.
And we already know some of the teams that will be participating in those, right? We've got the Buffalo Bills, the Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the New England Patriots.
Leaking out is Porter. Cross-court pass to Pope. Down the lane is Jokic. Layup good. Nice challenge. Nuggets lead it by 18, 75-57.
Natchez, tight turn through center ice. He'll leave it for Pesci. Pesci gives it to Natchez. They score! Oh, my goodness. What a pass from Pesci. And a better finish. Marty Natchez has his second of the game. It's 2-0 Carolina.
When I grow up, I want to be a hamburger.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is the Wednesday show. Not really a hump day show because we won't have one tomorrow anyway because of Royals. Steve Webster with you. Thanks for joining us today. On the program, we're going to talk softball a lot today. We're going to have Houston softball coach Tim Boxberger. They got in one of their 2 games before Hurricane Jethro rolled through Larned last night, wiping out the second game of their doubleheader, so they'll go to regionals next week with a record of 14-5. And then we'll talk Great Bend Panther softball with head coach Kerry Minton, and Mike Corson will be doing that. Have we been informed of the players that will be accompanying Coach Minton today?
She goes in the spirit of the Kinder Eggs, where when you open it, you don't know what you're going to get. So we find out when they walk in the door.
Will it be...
But I didn't ask, to her credit.
Will it be 2 players or 8?
She's usually bringing in the 2.
Okay, very good. Okay. And also we'll talk Fort Hays State Tiger sports with the voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, Gerard Welbrock. So that's all coming up on the show today. Let's get to our sounds of the past 24 hours. So are you more curious about the first cut or the last cut?
I'm trying to think, was that Patrick Mahomes at the end, or who was that?
When I grow up, I want to be a hamburger.
That is a student at Jefferson Elementary School yesterday during Career Day, telling our very own Shannon Towns that he wanted to be a hamburger when he grows up.
He's got a future as a comedian, though. Got me chuckling.
I don't know if I'd want to be a hamburger.
They don't have a good fates.
No, they don't, but
they are delicious.
Okay, so that was the last cut of the day. I thought it was cute, Ash.
Well, okay.
It was cute. It got a giggle.
I understand that. I listened to the whole thing, and I was surprised at how many of them wanted to be Major League Baseball players as opposed to NFL players. Because you hear about baseball dying, but there were a lot of them that said, I want to be a professional baseball player.
Because now they know they don't have to spend their entire time on the diamond. They can actually get off. And
okay, because it's not a 4-hour game anymore.
Right,
yes, okay.
I'm just telling you.
But a lot of them wanted to be YouTubers.
Yes, YouTubers was right there up there, yes.
Come operate our channel.
So you listen to all of them then, right?
Well, I'd say 75% of them.
Okay, so what grades were these?
They were 6th through 1st.
1st through 6th.
Well, however you want to look at it.
Okay. So after listening to all of these, do you feel confident about our future?
Yes.
No journalists.
A lot of doctors, 1 or 2 lawyers, which turned into a politician for me, because of a lawyer a lot of times will be a politician. None of them wanted to be president.
And I said,
And Corson has a reason.
that's because every evening Dad's yelling at the TV about the president. Well, they don't want to. They don't want to do that.
That's probably true.
I was going to say,
especially in this part of the country. Okay. Okay, good. So you felt good about.
I feel good about the future.
Did the hamburger statement concern you at all? Okay, that was played like a first
I didn't hear the
grader.
one that I thought about.
I mean, he should aspire to be a cheeseburger, but it's an extra 80 cents, bro.
Very good point. I mean, if you're going to be a
Set the
burger,
bar
you might as well
high.
be a cheeseburger.
Well, how about a double cheeseburger then, if you want to go that way? Or is that too much?
Oh, does that mean you have? I don't know. Good Lord.
We're
Let's
going
get to
down
the
a-
sounds. We've done, yeah, that hole we've gone down many times before. Let's get to our sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Head coach Brent Biggs, Barton Cougars, he was a guest yesterday talking about what he likes best about this year's team. He's got a veteran club. He's got a lot of players that have seen a lot of action, and they will be in action today. The regular season champions for the second straight year, Barton Cougars, they're 26-6. That's what they went in conference play. They ran away from it. They won the league by 5 games over second-place Butler, 47-8 during the regular season. It's great, man. You wish you could just celebrate it, but they can't because Region 6 starts today. Barton hosting Labette in the first game of a best-of-3 series at Lawson Biggs Field. They'll play today, tomorrow, and Friday if necessary. The Cardinals come to Great Bend with a record of 20-30. They finished 8th in the Jayhawk East standings, but they're not playing very well coming to town. They've lost 5 straight, 9 of their last 10. 1 o'clock today out at Lawson Biggs Field.
A lot of the times we have to put the spin on, hey, man, zeroing out those records. What's the flip side with the Barton baseball team? They've got the big record, so you can't forget that other teams are gunning for you.
Absolutely. And one thing about baseball, the equalizing factor is kind of, and softball, especially softball, you've got a pitcher that's, especially in game 1 of a series. Softball, you can just throw another one out there the second game. But so that gets going today at 1 o'clock. Aaron Clark had the call yesterday on B1043 The Point. Had the broadcast for what was not, that was on the air. The rest of it was with the hail that was coming down in town and the heavy rain last night. Scott Donovan doing a great job on weather coverage. But the Lady Panthers get 2 from TMP, went into that with a record of 14-5. Lady Panthers now 10-10, heading on to regionals next week.
TMP probably really wanted those wins. I meant to mention yesterday, hey, look at their schedule versus Great Bend's. Kind of throw out those records a little bit, but TMP was kind of fighting for the number 1 spot in a regional and looked like they got bumped down to maybe number 3. So that was a really big game for them.
Panther baseball, they play their final 2 games of the season this afternoon as they welcome in Manhattan. If you want to see some good baseball today, I don't think it's going to pour like it did yesterday, but who knows. Manhattan's lost only once all year. Great Bend 11-7 certainly could improve their stock in the 5A regional that starts next week. 4 o'clock at the Sports Complex today. Call last night on WMVP in Chicago. Andrew Vaughn hitting a home run to left, scoring Lynn Sosa. That was in the top of the 6th inning. The White Sox beat the Royals 4-2. Jordan Lyles throwing a complete game. First one the Royals have had in more than 2 years. Did allow 4 runs on 6 hits, and one of them was that big 2-run homer. Didn't walk anyone. Royals, and not the Royals, but Lyles going to 0-6 on the season.
I think they said last night on the broadcast, first time a Royals pitcher has gone the distance in a loss since James Shields 10 years ago. And he's leading the majors in home runs surrendered, including 2 in each of his last 5 starts. So
This
go-aways, but
this game was delayed for over 2 hours. Once it got started, they weren't going to waste any time. They played the first 5 innings of that game last night in 61 minutes.
Whoa.
I was watching hockey because of the delay, and so I turned it over, and it was the 6th. I'm like, man, when did this thing start? I didn't think it was that long ago. I did not know that.
I'm loving baseball again.
I'm ready to
I
start
got to the
watching.
point where it just got hard to watch. I mean, it's just the guy'd scratch himself, and then he'd, grab something. Yeah, and then he'd go to.
Then he'd spit.
I think I want to see something. Maybe I need to research this. Corson, gets all the kudos for doing his track stuff. Maybe I ought to do is see what the ERA difference is in Major League Baseball this year for fat pitchers. Because they're not able to rest now. They got to get the ball, and they go right back, and they've got to be in better shape now.
Going to have to come up with some specifications.
I was going to say, how are you going to determine what is fat?
Well, I guess they just have the picture of them. They don't, I mean, the headshot.
No analytics. It's going to be eye test only.
Well, what's fat? I mean,
it's subjective, isn't it?
6 foot 240. Those are my numbers. That's fat. Okay.
Some of those fellows are pretty solid, though.
You can't be
You
solid
take
in 6 foot 240.
You take BMI or all that other good garbage.
Yeah, look forward to your study.
Okay.
Yes, I do too.
Okay, yeah. What are you trying to take over my study now with what I'm going to
putting in some controls?
Okay, all right. You got to have some in there. Okay, I agree. So the Royals tonight, Game 3 of that series, we'll have it for you starting at 6. They will wrap that series up tomorrow with a 12:30 game at Kauffman Stadium if they can get it in, and that would replace Sports Day tomorrow. So, was that Squiddle? Okay, Game 3, yeah, we'll have that tomorrow, start 12:30. Joe Fortenbaugh. Have you listened to Joe and Amber on ESPN? Sarah Spain, they got rid of Spain and Fitz. Fitz is back on there. Spain's not on there anymore. That's a good show.
Time, weeknights from what, 6 to 10?
6 to 8.
6 to 8 before,
right.
Unless the Royals are on?
Fortenbaugh's good. I like him. And he's talking, and he does his part of the show out of Vegas. So he's kind of involved, the ESPN betting analyst. But he's saying that the gambling rules are working when it comes to curbing maybe illegal wagering, not illegal wagering, but you're not supposed to do it if you're in college athletics or professional. And, of course, we're talking about Alabama's baseball coach fired. Wagering on college baseball, putting a lot on it. Then Iowa State announcing gambling investigations into some of their athletes.
It could be a false narrative there. For everyone you catch, how many are you not catching? But the fact that it's a monetized business and there's a lot of money at stake, the people who control the money want to make sure that the bets are legit. But
they don't lose their their relationships with the leagues now, because once they made all this betting on those games, I think that they've got an interest in it.
But I would guess there's a far cry more of the illegitimate stuff going on that never makes it to, they don't get caught.
Right, and that's the biggest concern, right? I mean, you've got to have legitimacy in your sport. Either that or you become all-star wrestling or the WWE. I hope none of those guys are listening out there, because I would tell them that it's real.
There's a great clip of a guy crying, "Dang it, wrestling's real."
Diane Rossini talking about the teams that will play in the international games this year. And the Chiefs, unfortunately, are one of these.
It's gimmick.
Why does it matter to you?
Because I'm a Chiefs fan.
Well, I understand that, but so they play in Germany.
Does that not? Do you have a schedule every morning when you roll out of bed and look at your watch and then say, put your shoes on and drive to work?
I've learned to hit my marks like I've been taught.
But this throws the whole thing off. You don't need to be going over, especially November. Okay, they're going to be taking on, let's see, at Eintracht Frankfurt Stadium on November 5th. They'll take on the Dolphins.
Are the Lederhosen going to be red or yellow, do you think?
I don't know. Jacksonville's going over there twice.
Well, it's because nobody goes to the stadium there. So,
and that's a home game. No, that's considered a home game for the Chiefs. So that means one less game that they're going to get at Arrowhead.
I think they have been compensated probably enough over the last couple of years.
Once again, where's the fans?
Isn't it amazing how the NFL just controls the narrative of everything? They throw this out there, and then later today they're going to have the
big schedule release is either today or tomorrow, right?
Right, the teams you will play next year. Now, they did announce the Chiefs will host the Bengals on New Year's Eve in a regular season game.
Controlling my New Year's Eve.
Jets will host the Dolphins the day after Thanksgiving. Hey, the Eagles will host the Giants on Christmas Day. I heard it here first. NBA playoffs last night. Denver Nuggets held serve at home. The call on Denver's KKSE. Nikola Jokic makes a 2-point shot, assisted by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the third quarter. The Nuggets 118-102 win over the Suns in Denver. The Nuggets have a 3-2 series lead.
Nobody cares about my love affair of the Dan Patrick Show, but I watch it 3 hours a day many times for 8 years. His take on the Jokic grabbing the ball from the owner is that the owner was in the wrong, so there was talks which one was going to get suspended or kicked out for this week. Man, the guy was watching his guy on the sideline just holding the ball, and the basketball player goes over there and aggressively takes it from him, at which point the guy responded.
Didn't you hear that take on this program on Monday?
But I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh.
And there was talks, were they going to be
So now
suspended?
you just throw out there, I said that Monday, and then you're throwing it out today and giving Dan Patrick all the credit for his take.
No, I'm taking away his credit. But he could have been suspended. I would have suspended him. Why would you go run over there and grab the ball?
He wasn't going. He was after the ball before Bibrich or whatever his name is grabbed it. That's not. He's supposed to be in the stands. What's he standing up grabbing the ball for?
Well, the
and if
ball's
the guy
supposed
wants
to be
the
on the
ball
court.
back, you give him the ball.
But he didn't. He was holding the ball, looking at whatever was happening. What was he going to do with the ball?
He was going to take it in and start the other way.
No,
He was going to take the ball, get it to the.
I don't think they have quick starts like in soccer. I think they got to get set up.
You grab it, you throw it to the ref throws it back to you, you start the other way. And what's he standing there for? He chests up to.
Yeah, that was
Joe-
after he was assaulted, but.
No, that is. As soon as he took the ball, he chests up to him, and he didn't elbow him. He took it with his forearm and just moved him out of the way.
It was a flop.
It was a flop, exactly. And besides, they've made up anyway. So,
talk about WWE. I'll watch it anytime over that.
Joel Embiid scored 33 points. 76ers easily took a 3-2 lead in the series, in their series. We'll have Game 6 for you tomorrow night here on KVGB. Celtics at Philadelphia. And your hockey call last night on 99.9 The Fan. Martin Neck is scoring a goal in the second period. The Canes beat the Devils by the score of 6-1. And, of course, the hamburger comment. So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Some bracket announcements. Mike Hesher has that for you right now.
I don't get a prowl thing? Okay, all right. This is the 3A bracket that will have Hoisington at Ellenwood. It will be hosted by Lions, actually, but they have two sites for the first day. The first site will be Gypsum, so it'll be southeast of Saline, taking on Nickerson. That will be in southeast of Saline. The second game that day at southeast of Saline will be Heston and Lindsborg. Southeast of Saline is your number 1 seed. Heston is your number 4 seed. And then Hoisington, they will be in Lions. This is girls softball. They will be Hoisington Central Plains. They will be in Lions taking on Chase Lions. 1-17 is Lions and Chase. And what are you laughing at? You
I get what he said. It's Lions/Chase. So
yes, correct. But as I always said, it's the name on the jersey. So it's Hoisington and it's Lions. And Lions is 1-17. Hoisington actually says here 15-4. I don't want to throw anybody underneath the butt.
15-4, you were right.
Okay, so all right. And then the other matchup is Ellsworth and Ellenwood Stafford. I did it again. So Hoisington will play at about 4:30, 5 o'clock on Monday. And then baseball, phew, this is long-winded. Hoisington is hosting.
Deep breath.
Okay.
I
I got to get back to my course, and we're in no hurry. We got plenty of time. I haven't seen Tim Boxberger yet, have we?
Yes, he's
here.
here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, right.
Squirrel
Well,
came down and told us that he was out waiting out there.
Okay, so Hoisington is hosting the regional. That will be on Monday. And Heston is the number 1 seed. They take on Nickerson. The 4-5 matchup is, oh boy, Sylvan. I'm just going to go with Sylvan. They're taking on Ellsworth. That's the 4-5 matchup. Ellenwood, Roger Ward. We had a discussion about Roger Ward before the game. They are the number 2 seed. They're taking on Smoky Valley. And then Hoisington, the number 3 seed. They will play Beloit on Monday. That game to be at 4 o'clock in Hoisington.
Very good. I always makes me nervous when Corson starts looking at his watch while I'm talking. So I guess that means we need to go. Oh, by the way,
And he was
Aaron
correct.
Clark's at a remote today.
And he was correct. The TMP girls are the number 3 seed after losing to Great Bend yesterday in their regional.
Thank you.
You know, I don't throw everybody underneath the bus, and I try to congratulate people when they are correct.
You got some time for some real quicks? Super quicks.
Super quicks.
WAC championships will, in fact, be at Great Bend tomorrow. There was some consideration there, but it will be tomorrow. And the Batcats, every quarter, the 100-plus people who cares in Barton County, they take $100 from various people. Ends up being over $10,000. Batcats got that last night.
I think that's a great decision. And you see where that, where Roger's taking that. I know Roger spent a lot of his own cash on that to get it done. And it's really become an asset for the community, something to do in the summer. And I think that was a great decision. That's a really cool deal.
And I'm sure we'll find out what it's for. To get that, they have to pitch, to no pun intended, but
yeah,
they'll go up against other nonprofits in the area. So
he hasn't got it yet.
Nope. And that's a reminder to the people who owe the $100, get in there and pay your dues, and then that'll be turned over to the Batcats.
Where do you pay the $100?
So the decision, the presentation was made, the decision.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay. What is the group 100 people who don't care going to do, Ash?
They will probably go there. They will go there and drink the dollar beer.
Okay, very good.
Then they really won't care.
Okay. Tim Boxberger coming up next on Sports Day.
Start a new career in the medical field with Barton Community College's Medical Assistant Program, now offered 100% online. Learn to record patient history, measure vital signs, and maintain medical records using improved virtual simulations. Join this growing field with a certificate or associate's degree from Barton. Study anywhere and get your hands-on clinical experience at a location close to you. Learn more at medassistant.bartoncccc.edu.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Central Kansas Catbackers, this is Wyatt Thompson. The Cats will be in Great Bend Wednesday, May 17th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 at the Fieldhouse at 2817 9th Street. Join National Coach of the Year Jerome Tang, football's Colin Klein, Alumni Association President Amy Button-Renz, student athletes, the K-State cheer team, and Willie the Wildcat. This free event is open to all K-State fans. For information, call Cody at 785-691-6933. See you May 17th at the Fieldhouse in Great Bend. Go Cats!
For a limited time, take advantage of savings on select new Case IH compact tractors with no money down, no interest for 60 months. With easy operation, Case IH tractors deliver the flexibility and durability your operation demands. Hurry in. Offer ends June 30th, 2023. Stop by Can Equip today in Great Bend and set yourself up for greater productivity in 2023 with a great deal on a Case IH tractor that works as hard as you do.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Heavy dose of softball. We're going to be talking with Carrie Minton coming up here in our next segment. But right now, we're going to talk Hoisington Lady Cardinals softball with the head coach, Tim Boxberger, on the program. And, Tim, I just want you to know that what I do, it's a strategy we have on the program because I like to keep people involved on the show. So when Hesh can be right and come on and correct me about your record, I set him up, and Hesh did very well. You are 15-4.
There you go.
Congratulations so far on a nice season. How was the weather last night? That was a little scary over there, wasn't it?
Yeah, the weather was great the first game. Sunny, probably 80-some degrees, and then in between games, they were going to take a little break. Well, we're in a little thunderstorm warning, and next thing you know, they're loading us on the bus, taking us to the elementary school, and then
wow.
Mother Nature decided to throw a bunch of stones at us.
Yeah, about 3 inches of rain over there. Of course, that's in Gary Wagner's gauge. I don't know if we can believe anything Gary says, but that's okay. Okay, so the season's done now, and now you get ready for regional. So just kind of highlight some of the highlights that you had with this team that goes into postseason 15-4, Tim.
Yeah, really didn't know what to expect coming into the season. We lost 4 seniors last year, plus we lost another starter due to some other circumstances. So we were down 5 starters coming in, but we have a really deep junior and sophomore class, about 8, 9 deep for each, and they're really talented. So the girls come in, stepped up, filled some roles, and played well. I mean, it took a little bit at the beginning. We weren't real consistent at the beginning of the year, especially scoring runs, but we kind of got it going here in the second half of the season, so starting to play really well.
And the teams that you have lost to have pretty good resumes, don't they?
Yeah, we played Pratt early, and they were close games, but we just couldn't get a hit. We had bases loaded twice against them with nobody out and didn't score. So we only scored a couple runs against those guys. And then Haven come in, and, they're 19-1. They just embarrassed us the first game. That's probably the worst game I've ever coached. But game 2, we come back, and the girls fought, and we were actually in the lead in the 6th inning. Ended up losing on a home run. But, yeah, those 2 teams were combined, 30 –
have they lost
34-5 or something like that? So I think Haven's 19-1 and Pratt 16-4.
So yeah, not bad.
Not bad. They got their top 2 in our conference. We finished 3rd in the league. So
what'd that tell you about your team? You come out and get blown out like that by a Haven team, and you come back and have a chance to win the second one.
Yeah, I think we were all a little embarrassed on how we played, and we had a long chat in between games, and I challenged them a little bit on showing some fight and showing more effort, and they really dug in, so I was pretty proud of them. Even though we didn't win the game, I thought we played so much better. And to give yourself a chance to win, that was great.
Who chatted the most?
I think I had most of the conversation.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to know. So it was more of a one-way conversation.
Probably,
so,
yeah.
Let's talk about this year's team. Let's talk about pitching first. That's always a big thing in fast-pitch softball.
Yeah, we have 3 really good pitchers. We use 2 mostly. My daughter, and Emma Williston, who's a senior. She didn't get to pitch a whole lot of varsity last year with, Jordan, and we had Cassidy Nixon last year. So, but she kept working hard over the summer, and she gained some speed on her fastball, and her off-speed stuff's always really been good. So they've both done a really nice job. I think they're both 7-2, I believe, and both ERAs in the 2s and 3s. So pretty pleased with how we done it. And our 3rd pitcher, Ellie Crawford, I think her ERA is under 1. And she's a sophomore, and she actually come in and bail us out in the Heston game. Jordan was dealing with a sore shoulder earlier in the year, and she got in some trouble in the 1st inning against Heston, and she come in and threw 6 scoreless innings, so did a really good job. Got her first varsity win. So
I asked Carson DeBose about this, head coach at Barden, about for softball. I mean, baseball sometimes he's getting a little tired or fatigued. I don't know, fatigue. So when do you decide, okay, this is what I want to do in this particular situation, or who do I want to throw, or things like that?
Yeah, we don't have the pitch counts like baseball does, and, these
Thank
girls.
Goodness.
Yeah. So, you can throw these girls out there, and they've been throwing since they were 8, 9 years old. So, and the pitch counts don't get too high. Usually we're in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Sometimes it gets a little higher than that, but I don't know. I just base it on feel. Like when I feel like a girl needs to come out, if they've already been through the lineup 3 times, I really don't like to see them the 4th time through. So it's just kind of a feel thing and how they're timing up their fastballs and stuff. So.
Offensively, who's been the one leading, the few players leading the charge there?
Yeah, our leading hitter this year is Cashlyn Beck. She's hitting probably around 700, I believe. So she's a really tough out. Last night we were up 4-3 in the 7th, and she hit a 3-run homer against the wind to kind of, give us a lot of breathing room, so to say. So I think she's leading our team with 4 home runs. So she's kind of leading the way offensively. Ellie Crawford's hitting around 500. I think Jordan's around 450, and then we got Molly Steiner's around 400. So, yeah, our juniors are stepping up, and Ellie Crawford's a sophomore, obviously, but she's she was JV last year, so she's really stepped up her game. So pretty proud of her.
You've had some success going to state tournaments, very, postseason runs. How would you describe Hoiston Lady Cardinal baseball under Tim Boxberger?
Baseball?
I mean softball.
Softball, how do I describe Cardinal softball? Try not to get in the way of the girls. We work in practice, and this is how we like to play. When we get to games, I just let them play and then see how it goes. I know I don't like to put a whole lot of pressure on the girls. I'm not a big yeller. So if they make mistakes, I just try to tell them that it's okay and go on to the next play and see how it goes. And, their resilience, we've had some games where it looked pretty bleak, and they just got that fight. They just dig down deep and find a way to win a game.
Talk about your regional next week.
Yeah, it's a lot of our leagues in there, so we've seen most of them. I think Southeast and what is the other one? Ellenwood, and I think we played Ellenwood. So really the only team we haven't seen is Ellsworth. And fortunately, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, a lot of those girls play for us in the summer. So I kind of know what everybody does. So
what about Southeast?
We actually play them in the summer too, and they're solid. I mean, they're tough 1 through 9 in the lineup. They got good pitching. They don't make mistakes, and they really don't swing at bad pitches either. You're going to have to go at them and throw some strikes, and hopefully we play good defense, which at times can be our Achilles heel. It seems like when we do give up runs, we get a couple 3 errors in one inning, and then things kind of explode. So we're going to have to play a much better defense when we get to regionals.
So what makes you feel good about your chances next week?
We've been there before, the last 2 years. We've gone to state. We won regionals. We know what it takes to win. The girls know what it takes to win. And I just think when we get in that situation, when it comes down to it, we'll be ready, we'll be prepared, and hopefully we can score enough runs.
Tim, I'm glad you came over here today. And before we let you go, I got to spend 7 years with the guy. That was all, doing basketball with Dr. Blake Harris.
Yeah.
And explain to people who probably didn't know Blake, although Blake knew about everybody, but,
Right.
Not only what he meant to, just being a supporter of Hoiston High School athletics, but what Blake Harris meant to the Hoiston community.
Yeah, Blake was great. It doesn't matter what sport. I just know with my experience with Blake that year-round I could, I see him in supermarket or wherever, and we just sit and start chatting about volleyball or basketball or softball or K-State sports. And no matter if he was annoyed, I had to go or whatever, he sat there and listened to me, and we talked. And he was just a great guy. I'm going to miss him a lot. He's such a supporter for our community and does everything. I mean, everybody in town knows him. Everybody feels like, Blake's our dad or our brother or whatever. But he's going to be missed. I mean, I know those Friday nights up in the old football booth. I mean, first thing I did, walked over and did the old fist bump. And he'd always ask how you're doing or how the girl's doing. Or, yeah, it's sad. And
yep.
What a great guy. I mean, he is a Hoiston Cardinal through and through.
I just remember Blake at those games, it'd be the JV games, and probably Jordan remembers this just as much as anybody, Shoot!
Yeah.
Shoot!
Oh, yeah. He always told Jordan, you need to shoot at least 10 to 15 times a game. I don't think she ever got that done, but he put the message out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to miss him a lot, too. Tim, thanks for coming in. Good luck next week, and hope to see you back at the state tournament.
All right, appreciate you guys.
Okay, Tim Boxberger here with us on Sports Day. Softball theme continues. We'll be talking Great Bend Panthers softball coming up next here on Sports Day.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Farmers depend on their equipment, and equipment depends on its fuel. Cenex Premium Diesel works as hard as you do and comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster even cleans up your injectors and prevents injector fouling. so your equipment can keep firing on all cylinders to make every day a field day. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
When it's time to replace your old windows and doors, call your local Pella certified contractor, Empire Improvements. With a full line of Pella windows and door options, including affordable vinyl, durable fiberglass, and luxurious wood, Empire Improvements has an option for any taste or budget. No matter what Pella window or door you choose, you'll know it was installed right by a Pella trained and certified contractor. For the best warranty in the business, call Empire Improvements in Great Bend today at 620-603-0872.
Mind Sculpt Games in Great Bend will blow your mind. Listen to what these parents had to say.
My son and I spent several hours looking through their sports card boxes. We had a blast and the owners were super kind and helpful.
This has become our family's favorite store. I love the community atmosphere of this store, putting an emphasis on face-to-face interactions, which we all need.
One step inside, and you'll see what they mean. Mind Sculpt Games, West 10th Street, Great Bend, where games build brains.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, our members are at the very heart of our mission. That's why this Military Appreciation Month, we thought you might want to hear a special thank you message from your friends and family.
I want to give a shout out to my brother Will, who's currently serving as a major in the Army. Happy Military Appreciation Month.
Hi, I'm wishing my pops, retired Colonel Stephen Sheehan of the United States Marine Corps, a happy Military Appreciation Month.
And from all of us here, happy Military Appreciation Month. Commitment connects us. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by three Lady Panther softball players. We have Paige Thexton, Denver Ringo, and Ava Kaiser. Coach Minton's in here somewhere. We will start off with Tuesday night regular season finale. Did the season go by fast or what?
Yeah, it was a fast season. I couldn't believe that those were already our last games coming up.
How important to end the regular season with a pair of wins?
I think it was really important for us to get those 2 wins, kind of build our confidence and get us back up to 500. That's what our goal was for those games, and we executed.
You guys can talk too, Pages.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Ouch.
On paper, that game might have looked intimidating. Any fears going against a team that was, 13-5 at the time?
No, not really.
We'll look at some numbers here. We'll start off with our power hitter, Paige Thexton. 2 home runs in the last 3 games. Anything you're doing differently or seeing in particular that?
Well, I had kind of struggled in the beginning of the season, so I'd gone and hit with my dad a bunch, and he gave me something to say in my head every time I'm up there, and I think that really helped me get out of that funk.
And then you almost hit another one against TMP?
Yeah, I almost had 3, but didn't hit it hard enough.
When you do that, are you looking? I watch a lot of the major leagues, and they'll say, set on the fastball, but be ready for the change. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Normally, if I know that the pitcher will have an off speed or a rise, I'll try to lock in on that more. But by that game, I knew that pitcher, because we'd already seen her the first game, didn't really have that much of an off speed. So I was just kind of looking to hit anything that was there.
Denver, you're batting. She's the third baseman for the Lady Panthers, batting .417 over the last 3 games. Anything in particular that you've been keen on?
Definitely laying off the high pitches, because I learned that the hard way against Garden. But yeah.
What is it like? Saw the 2-time WAC Player of the Year, maybe 3 times. Does that make going against a 2-1A pitcher feel a little easier?
Yeah, just a little bit. She pitched a little bit slower than the other one and didn't really have much ball movement, but.
Ava Kaiser is the left fielder. She's also warmed up over the last 3 games. 7-14 over the last 3 games.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running. What are you doing differently?
Well, I'm trying to, Denver, laying off the higher pitches. I prefer the balls right down the middle. Easier for me to hit. I struggle with the lower and higher ones, but.
We'll talk about the record here. So 10-10 on the season with the 3-game win streak. Let's look at your losses. So 10 losses. McPherson's number 1 seed in Class 4A. Garden City's a number 2 seed in Class 6A. Manhattan's a number 3 in Class 6A. Hayes is going to be top probably 4 or 5 in 5A. 9 of your 10 losses against those 4 teams. So you're 10-10 going into the postseason, but still feel that you're better than average?
Yeah, I feel like playing those high-level team kind of, it like pushes us to get better and be our best.
Talking to Paige Thexton, Ava Kaiser, and Denver Ringo. Going into regionals next week, any preference? It looks like it was Hayes, Capon, and
I think Goddard Eisenhower's one.
any preference on who you guys see, or is it just softball as usual?
I think it's just softball, but, I mean, playing Hayes is playing Hayes. It's always like...
They took 3 against you, and they obviously had the good pitcher that beat you up a couple times. Do you like to see different teams just to mix it up?
Yeah. Gets boring playing the same team over and over, I guess.
What about the weather? You guys avoided the weather yesterday. Track kids are heating up, so the times went crazy last week as the temperatures got up. Feel like anything changes? Paige, you're a pitcher. Does the ball move any different in the high humidity or high temperature?
I don't know. I've never really, put a test to it, but I think it keeps me, warmer throughout the game, so it helps me stay hot. But other than that, I don't know.
Some of you guys, how many of you guys have played in a regional before?
I've never played in.
Any extra anxiety there going into games, knowing that that could be the last one of the year?
Maybe just a little bit, but.
Well, or do you like the fact that, hey, we're 10-10. I mean, we did our jobs through the year, but now it's 0-0. It doesn't matter if we're playing 20-0 or 0-20. We have to win this game. Is there a different approach to the way you handle those games?
I don't think so. I think it's just we got to keep the errors down and hit the ball and play our game. Hope to win that one and keep moving on.
Paige, you threw 3 complete innings against TMP, 8 strikeouts. Anything that you were keen on? Do you face different lineups differently or kind of the same approach every game?
I think it just depends on the hitter. Like, when we played TMP, they had this one girl, and you didn't want to throw her anything too good or else that thing was gone. So I think it's knowing the batter you're facing and knowing how to pitch around them.
Once again, talking to Paige Thexton, Denver Ringo, Ava Kaiser with the Lady Panther softball team. 3-game win streak going into regional action. Don't know quite who you play next Tuesday or Wednesday, but good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
The time is now. Get up to $729 off devices like the Samsung Galaxy S23 or the iPhone 14 Pro. Bring your number to us, and you can also get a $100 Visa gift card. Only at Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Barton Community College enrollment days are back. Registration is now available for all sessions through July 26th. Make the enrollment process fun, fast, and simple. Reserve your spot to get everything set up for the fall semester in just one day. Visit with an academic and financial advisor, enroll in classes, take a tour of campus, and more. Visit enroll.bartoncccc.edu to sign up.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like ASTEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows that ASTEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
It's time to head to Tiger Town to talk Fort Hays State Tiger sports with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock, on Sports Day.
Welcome back, Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Appreciate Hoisington, Great Bend softball coming into the studio today for the show. Now, it's been a couple weeks since we talked with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock, who's, what are you doing, yard work now or what? I mean, it's...
I need to.
Unfortunately, your seasons kind of are over right now.
Yeah, it came to an end at the conference softball tournament last weekend, but it kind of happens this time of the year.
Yeah, elimination games. So let's talk. I want to talk about baseball first because, you said it'd be really... Oh, go... Yes?
No, I said okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The baseball team ended up 20-30. Said it'd be big if they could make the conference tournament, and they made a run at the end of the year. But then, of course, you have to go take on Central Missouri to close out the season. They were very competitive in that series. But talk about the first year with a new coach. Where do you think the program's going?
I think they're remarkable turnaround, and I just like where they're headed, and just like the attitude and just the steps they made. They started from day one. Fall ball was 5 a.m. weights, and you find out real quick who wants to be a part of your program. You're lifting 5 a.m. weights for the whole semester, and he kind of had a zero tolerance. You screw up, you're done, and they weren't going to mess around, and really shifted we hear that word a lot, culture. But he really did. And I think some of their problems, and I think the players who came back from the last couple of years, they were bought in. But when 4 wins last year? They had 11 the year before, and then 3 and 4. It was terrible. And when you're a part of that, I think some of the losses they had this year were for some of the returners, okay, what's going to go wrong? We're in this game, when's it going to fall apart? And I think that got better as the season went, and I think you have to win consistently for that to go away. But you could see signs from day one, their very first games, they were competitive. They beat Missouri Southern, who was ranked. Quite honestly, they should have won the last game against Central Missouri. Rallied from a 9-1 deficit or 8-1 deficit, took the lead, and then lost in extra innings. So they proved they can play with the best teams in the conference. Now, can you consistently do it? And they were a little bit short in pitching. Just that was what it was. You can only replace and bring in so many parts so often every season, and that was an area they were just a little bit short. They had some guys who were in the program coming off injuries, pitched well, and really did a good job. And I think that's their focus this offseason. Improve the pitching. They have most of their position players returning, and I think they felt pretty good. Offensively, they were upper half and for a while upper third of the conference, so I think they feel pretty good about that. If you can just get a couple of more arms, a little more, depth in the bullpen, I think you win a few more of those games, and you probably make the tournament. So I think they're in a good spot. Coach Wickard's doing a good job. He's had success at other places and seems to have all these guys bought in. So it was fun to watch. They were a fun team to watch, and they played hard, and I think they're just going to keep getting better and better.
Gerard Wellbrock with us, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. So we have Lewis Field Stadium. We have, of course, Gross Memorial Coliseum. I would say, you would have to say, especially the improvements they're making now, those would be assets for when you want to recruit players to, the locations would maybe be a detriment for some. I don't know. Is Larks Park an asset or a detriment to recruiting?
That is a great question that I ask myself. I need to start asking a few more players.
I think it's a cool place. But I saw a lot of cool games there.
And they're doing more. I know, like, new turf is going to be coming in a few years. It desperately needs new turf. I would love it if they could turf the whole thing, just because with the water restrictions in Hayes, it doesn't get watered a lot early, and with so much rye and Bermuda grass, it stays dormant, and it doesn't green until usually the last weekend of the year, and the balls just bounce weird off there. And they for the larks in the summer, it's a lot better because the grass is in bloom. I wish they could turf the whole thing. I've heard they're looking into it. I don't know if that'll happen. It is a great setting. They're trying to do some more aesthetic work around it. They've done a lot of improvements. The locker rooms and clubhouse, they're able to use them now. They've got lockers in there. So they've really, I think, done a lot with an old structure. But when you look at Missouri Southern, who's got a new one, you look at Pittsburgh State, who's got state-of-the-art, and their clubhouses are as good as anybody in the country. Central Missouri, it's Crane Stadium. He's the owner of the Houston Astros. He played at Central Missouri. They don't go without. So when you start comparing it to programs like that, Missouri Western's got a 5-year-old stadium. I think it can become a detriment. I don't think Fort Hays is going to be building a new one anytime soon, so you have to make the best of it. And I think they do a good job. And when sometimes I do think facilities are overrated. Mark Johnson has told me this for years, the men's basketball coach. As beautiful as Gross Memorial Coliseum is, Northwest Missouri State's winning championships left and right, and they may have the second worst basketball facility in the conference. So that really doesn't matter. It's still about the players you get, and a lot of it's your location. And I think it's more that than anything else because, hey, players want to play, they'll go where they can play. But it is. I'm glad to see they're making some improvements because it is a historic venue, and I think it's a cool venue, and it's it will be hard to replicate that with anything else.
Where's and forgive me for not the head coach's name is
Justin Wickert.
Okay, Justin Wickert. Okay, he came from the junior college ranks.
He did. Yep.
Is I really can't remember the makeup, when Fernelli took him to the World Series and, Curtis Hammocky. I mean, what's the mix, on the recruits that are coming in? You try to get 4-year guys or you get guys from successful junior colleges?
I think a little bit of both. Just visiting with him, he brought in a lot of junior college, and he brought a couple guys with him from Trinidad. They had a good team. He brought in a lot of junior college talent. He had to. I think his vision is to eventually get to where you build the program up, you've got good numbers in each class. We can go out and get a good high school kid, and we don't have to play him right away. We can develop him, and I think that goes back to he can learn our culture. He can learn the way we want to do things. Then when we have that need, we can go out and get that specific junior college player or 4-year, wherever it is, transfer player to fit our specific needs, and we can be more diligent and get the right guy that's going to be the right fit. So I think you're going to see a good blend of both because the junior college player's proven. He's done it for a couple of years, and you know what you're getting. The 4-year guy still has to prove it. But I think they would like to get a better blend than what they had this year, but a lot of it this year was by necessity. You're probably going to see some more transfers next year. I think that number will slowly drop, but it will never go away, and it can't go away. I think baseball is so much different than any other sport in that regard. But yeah, I think you'll see more 4-year as he gets more established and hopefully wins the way he wants.
Gerard, appreciate the time and always, for being blunt with the questions that I ask, because I love Larks Park. It's
agree.
Yeah, I've seen some cool games played there, and but it's a WPA project, right? I mean but so's Lewis Field. So anyway,
I don't see them moving anytime soon, but I'm glad to see they're making some improvements aesthetically to make it a lot nicer.
Well,
and I think that goes a long way.
You're a Fort Hays grad, so why don't you pony up a little bit?
Well, you've done what I do. You kind of know the reason why. I don't have enough zeros behind my paycheck.
Well, okay, all right, very good. Gert, we've only got a couple more shows left here as we will we'll pull the curtain down on the program here for the summer, but you still got more work to do, so don't lay down on me, okay?
Looking forward to it.
All right, Gerard Walbrock, voice the Tigers with us, back with more Sports Day after this.
In celebration of National Hospital Week and the completion of our recent remodel project, Clara Barton Medical Center is excited to invite you to our open house on Wednesday, May 10th. Join us from 4 to 7 p.m. to explore the newly renovated spaces throughout our facility, including our state-of-the-art imaging suite and new surgical clinic. Tours will be offered every 15 minutes and refreshments will be served, so be sure to join us for an open house on Wednesday, May 10th from 4 to 7 at Clara Barton Medical Center in Hoisington.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard. My own little paradise. Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. A very, very small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score.
Welcome back to Sports Day on KVGB. Appreciate Jared Welbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, joining us on the show. Aaron Clark's back in. Remote over?
Remote over. Successfully done at Stutzman's greenhouse.
Okay, very good. So I'm glad you're back in here. Barton Cougars taking on Lobet Cardinals. Game 1 of the best of 3, first round in the Region 6 Central Plains playoffs out at Barton Community College. And we have an update. Let's go to the desk of Mike Hesher.
This desk. It's 1-0 Lobet heading to the bottom of the second. It looks like Lobet had 2 on with 1 out in the top of the second, but Barton was able to get out of it. So they're now currently in the bottom of the second, 1-0 Lobet, 1 out. Nobody on.
Okay. And, of course, that's the best of 3. So plenty of time to go for the Cougars to take care of business and move on to Wichita next week. Okay. Automatic balls and strikes could soon be coming to the major leagues, much like players themselves are robo-umps working their way up through the minors with the goal of being promoted to the show. The goal is to eliminate the individual and sometimes inconsistent strike zones that vary from umpire to umpire, and with the possibility that a game can turn on a bad ball strike call, disappearing with that or the complaints that an umpire strike zone was too wide or a pitcher was getting squeezed, followed by the helmet slamming, dirt kicking, dust-ups that are practically as old as the sport itself. Long overdue, although I could see some tampering with the strike zone. You talk about, beating on a can. What if you're able to navigate into and break into the computer that has the square up there?
And maybe harder than bribing actual umpires, which may not be happening too much, but who knows if umpires now are getting their palms greased by teams. I'm a little excited about the automated strike zone. I think it's a great addition.
As long as their satellites don't get shot out of the sky, they could ruin the whole postseason. But I guess it's technology we have. Just think how much it'll speed up the game now. It's ball, strike.
And there's not someone out there for the players to back and forth with and argue with, Do you think the MLB will have a little throwback game where they have live umps?
Yeah, I know. It'll be well, I have to. If they have some technical issues, all of a sudden they got to do that. So I like it. Hesh, what do you think?
I disagree. I would rather have the human element.
Well, then let's eliminate all then.
Pardon me?
Eliminate all replays.
I would agree, yes.
Or if you don't eliminate replays, just have the balls and strikes.
Okay.
I would take that, balls and strikes.
I would agree with that, yes. But, if they take away everything, the Royals don't win the 85 World Series.
This is Agriculture Today, and